So in a previous video, I demonstrated how to calibrate um, a submersible pressure sensor, submersible pressure transducer. They might also call it a submersible pressure transmitter. And it uses what they call current loop sensing and voltage sense. And what happens is you'll put in fact, I'll show you this. Let me back out a little bit on this. This is I'm going to have three different diagrams here. This diagram shows you, this is an MCP 3202 ADC, and that's the Raspberry Pi right here. This is a submersible pressure transducer. It'll be here, and a 165 ohm 0.1% resistor. And so anyway, what happens is with this, the current will flow from ground up through this resistor and into the submersible pressure transistor and then back to the power supply. Okay, so and what happens is whenever you put current across the resistor, you build a voltage. And so if current's passing this way from ground up, then on this side will be a positive voltage. And I calculated with now this pressure transducer with the 12 volt across its outputs the current is what's controlled, the current, and it outputs from 4 milliamps to 20 milliamps. So when this pressure transducer, pressure sensor, when there's no water above it, if it's right on, it's hanging there with no water at the bottom, if the tank is empty, it'll output 4 milliamps. So 4 milliamps will flow through this thing, right? Regardless of the resistor you have here, 4 milliamps will flow through this. That's important to remember, okay? And, well, I mean, if this resistor is too high, it wouldn't be able to push it. But, for example, if you had a 300 milliamp here, if you had a 300 ohm resistor here instead, this transducer would still would pass 4 milliamps through it if there's no if it's no pressure, right? If the tank was empty, but you wouldn't get the right reading because we want if you have a 165 ohm resistor, when this is allowing the maximum current, which would be 20 milliamps, if it's in a deepest depth, then the most this would output on this side would be 3.3 volts across this. That's why we chose 165 ohm resistor, because if you have the maximum current what this would be pushing would be 20 milliamps, then the voltage at temperature would be 3.3 volts, would not exceed the bias that I'm using on this MCP 3202. Now you want these both to be the same, right? Because you want this logic voltage to be 3.3 here. So that's why you're going to have this biased at 3.3 along with, now the Raspberry Pi, its input will be 5 volts, okay? Its input will be 5 volts. But I guess this is not a perfect drawing, is it? Because this will actually output 3 volts to the MCP 3202. The next drawing will be more clear. Let me kind of go over to the next drawing. Okay, here we go. So this would be the layout here. You have a tank, storage tank with a submersible sensor suspended down towards the bottom of the tank, and this is a little terminal block here. You'd have a 12 volt supply feeding plus 12. Now this sensor can take from 12 to 24 volt controlled, but even still, it will still output 4 milliamps if it's no pressure, or if it's in its deepest depth, like I said, I think it'll go 15 feet, 5 meters or so. So then it would be 20 milliamp output. So its milliamperage output would not change if you increase this. This supply can be anywhere from 12 to 24 volts for the particular pressure sensor that I have, but it'll still output that same. So apparently I have to assume there's a regulator inside this, right? So no matter what you have here, 20 up to 24 volts, this will still be looking at 12 volts. Anyway, it will, so its output current will vary depending on the pressure. How deep, the deeper it goes, the pressure, more pressure is. So 12 volts coming in. Now I'm saying it kind of backwards, right? Because really it kind of goes from negative to positive. But for the sake of doing this, let's look at it this way. We have a 12 volt feeding this, and it'll be coming in and going through the 165 ohm resistor to ground and back to the power supply. Well, across this resistor is what the analog to digital converter is going to be monitoring. It's going to be monitoring on the positive side and the ground side, and it's going to look at the difference. Now, this is in differential mode, and you have to take the software configured special just for this. So, and what happens is, you notice that this ground here, this is ground coming from the Raspberry Pi, from the Pi to drive the ADC here. It is not connected with this ground here. Okay, see there's not a ground. So this has a purely looking exactly only across this resistor. Is not tied. This is not tied to ground here. That's important. All right. Now, so that's in differential mode. So this is channel 0. This is channel 1. And so now the chip, the MCP3202 now is powered from the bus of the Raspberry Pi. Gets the 3.3 volts. There's a pin on the GPIO bus, 3.3 volts. It goes to pin 8 here on the MCP3202, and the ground also comes from the bus. It can be any ground pin on the GPIO bus on the Raspberry Pi can connect to the ground pin. So the MCP3202 is purely powered by the Raspberry Pi from the 3.3 and the ground coming from the Raspberry Pi. So it's SPI communications. So we have the clock signal will go on pin. This is 7 right here. The MSIO will be on pin 6. The MOSI will be on pin 5. Then over here 2 and 3 are the inputs from the differential inputs monitoring the sensor. And then lastly, the chip enable signal will be on pin 1. Okay, one more drawing here. So now this is an actual chart that I got. AI gave this to me, and it worked. I connected it just like this. Okay, so this is it. So these are the pins on the MCP3202, and the kind of description what they do, and this is suggested pinouts that it gave me. So pin 24, GPIO 8 was pin 24. It was chip enabled. So the software that I used, the library, they had to be exactly like this. Okay, with the library that I used on, because so and anyway, this is because this is the GPIO pin. This is on the Raspberry Pi, it's expecting these exact pins for the library I use. Okay, the next video I have will actually demonstrate the software, what I'm using for this. Okay, so anyway, I just want to give a brief overview, and there we go. Okay, so this is the actual setup I had when I did the calibration the other day in my patio out there. So just so you know. Okay, so the next video will be on the software that I use to, in this configuration here, to calibrate this sensor.